Hello there, Jonathan here, and welcome back as we're about to enter into our next room, a rail tunnel. So just a little recap from the last room. Looks like Shawna and the lantern weren't doing too good, not holding back the darkness. You can see our darkness marker moved up a couple spaces there towards the mine entrance. Ended up landing on a blood spatter there, which we drew a darkness card and got whispering voices. So our heroes took several sanity damage. The worst of it was that Yvette, she wasn't able to make a spirit skill test, so she ended up going a little bit mad. She contracted the madness open to the void, so she's no longer going to get a willpower save to prevent any corruption hits. So when we get around to what corruption hits are, go ahead and take a look at that. Yvette did some good scavenging though. She did find an axe, and since she is a gun wielder, she gave the axe to Shawna, who took it no problem. And she also found about $25 in coins. So let's go ahead and continue on into our next room, a rail tunnel. So we're on step 3, which is room exploration, and we'll go ahead and take a look at the exploration token. Let's see what we got here. Alright, we got ourselves a blue circle here, which is a portal, but for the introductory mission here, we're not using portals, so that's going to be considered a door. And we have attack. So we go ahead and take our card and roll a d6. On 1 to 3, that's where the door will be. On a 4 to 6, that's where the door is going to be. And we got a 5. So the door is going to be here. So we go ahead and get the end cap. And we'll cap off the other end. So next thing we do is we're going to do attack. So we need to go ahead and get the threat deck appropriate to the number of heroes we have. And it's a low threat deck, and how we know how many heroes we have is right here underneath threat deck. It says 1 to 2 heroes. So if you have 3 to 4, 5 to 6 heroes out there, you'll have a different threat deck to use. So at the moment, we are going to have a Night Terror and P dice of Void Spiders. And remember, there's that P dice, which is known as a peril dice, that you use. Put those there. So we'll go ahead and roll the peril dice to see how many void spiders are going to be out there. And we got 3. Okay, so we're going to have 1 Night Terror and 3 void spiders. Go. So to find out information on our enemy record sheet, it's in the rulebook on page 20 in the section enemies, but we're going to go ahead and go over what enemies we have here. So the big one right here is the Night Terror. So here's their sheet. They are Night Terrors. Their keyword is demon. They are a large size with an initiative of 3. Here's their ability. They have an ability called Terror, and it says it's for a 2. And a hero starting their activation on the same map tile automatically takes 2 horror hits. So this number in parentheses 2 refers to the number of horror hits that you're going to take. It has a movement of 5 and an escape of 3+. It does not do any range attacks, only melee attacks. It's got 4 combat attacks against you, and each combat attack is going to do 4 damage. The Night Terrors, they have a 3 defense with 12 health, and they have 10 XP plus 5 each. And we'll go over that when the damage occurs from the heroes onto the Night Terrors. Now, since this is an introductory mission, we're not doing any of the elite abilities, so down here is the elite chart for the Night Terrors, so we're not going to do anything regarding elite. And next we have the Void Spiders. They have keywords of Beast and Void. They are a small size with an initiative of 6. You can see that they have no abilities. Their movement is 8 with an escape of 4+. They have no range attacks, only a melee of 4+. They have 2 combat attacks, and each attack is going to do 2 damage. They have 0 defense with a health of 3 and are worth 10 XP. And then this is their elite chart that we're not going to be using. So we're going to do some movement around here. Put that up there. It's there. Now we need to go ahead and place them. The placement of the enemies are, the first one is the one with the lowest initiative. So the Night Terror has an initiative of 3, the Void Spider has an initiative of 6, so we're going to place the Night Terror first. So we're going to place them farthest away from the heroes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so they're going to go over here, and he goes on this farthest half square. And then you place the other enemies down in a checkerboard fashion. So this one will be a no, that'll be a no, and then checkerboard to there. So there's yes. And then we go all the way to the other end. So we go yep. And yep. Okay, so we have our enemies placed. Now we're going to use the first player marker here. So go ahead and put the enemy record sheets down. But now it looks like we're having not enough space. So what we're going to do is go ahead and just grab a couple of the other models of the enemies, and we'll use those as their markers. So we have initiative of 6 with the Void Spiders, and the Gunslinger has initiative of 6. So now the question is who goes first? So in regards to initiatives, if initiatives are tied, there's 3 different types that you have to deal with. One are heroes versus heroes, and then there's heroes versus enemies, and then there's enemies versus enemies. So on heroes versus heroes, in the rulebook on page 11, there's a white box on the left-hand side that can tell you information about that. And basically you're going to decide amongst yourself who wants to go first. So next turn, the same person can go first, or the other person can go first. On hero versus enemies, in the rulebook on page 23, the enemy is going to go first, and the information is found in that white box on that page. So in our case, the Void Spider has a 6, the Gunslinger has a 6, so the Void Spider is going to end up going first. And the last one is enemies versus enemies, and that's in the rulebook on page 22, in this section, placing enemies on the board, and this is where you're going to roll randomly to decide which one is going to go first. So with initiative 6, our Void Spider will be going first, and then the Gunslinger will be going second. The Saloon Girl has an initiative of 5, the Night Terrors have an initiative of 3, so the Saloon Girl will go third, and our Night Terror will go fourth. The first player marker up there. And now we're ready to go into step 2, models activate in initiative order. Now when the models were on the map tiles by themselves, remember they had 2 actions, which was movement and searching, and then the searching had scavenging and looking through a door. But now since we're going into our fights, now we have to go to a new type. So the second situation has 2 actions. One is movement, and number 2 is attack. So the first one up are the Void Spiders. So they're going to do their movement. They can move 8, so 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. All right, very good. So they move all the way up there. And the first one's going to attack the Saloon Girl. So go ahead and we'll take a look at their enemy record sheet. And it says that they have 2 combat attacks, and each hit is going to end up doing 2 damage. And remember, they need to have 4+ in order to hit. Alright, so we got a 5 and a 1. So they hit once. Now what happens is you look at the Saloon Girl's character sheet. She's got a defense of 3+. So if she rolls a 3 or better, then she dodges out of the way of the spider trying to bite her. And she rolls a 6, so she dodges out of the way. The spider does not bite her. Now our next spider, it's going to go ahead and attack the Gunslinger. And it gets the 2 combat. It needs a 4+ to hit. A 1 and 2. Terribly misses, terribly misses. Alright, so that ends our actions for the Void Spiders. This Void Spider back here, since they only do melee attack, it can't attack, so it just sits there, waiting for its turn. Our next one up is the Gunslinger. So it's going to go ahead and he's going to do its movement. Now remember, the Night Terrors, they have that special ability called Terror. A hero starting their activation on the same map tile automatically takes 2 horror hits. So that means that Yvette is going to have to do 2 horror hits and save with her willpower of 4+. 4 and a 6, so she makes it. Now, the Night Terror is back here at the end of the map tile, and remember, our heroes are on that splice part between the mid passage and a rail tunnel. So that means that she's still on this map tile. That's why she had to go ahead and do the save of the horror hits from the terror ability of the Night Terror. So she's going to go ahead and start now with her movement. She rolls the movement dice and she gets a 2, but she's just going to stay there. And remember, she's rolling for those grits. So now she's going to go ahead and attack, and she's going to have to use her pistol, which is a ranged item. And for the ranged item, it says that if there's any enemy that's adjacent to her, that she has to attack those before she could attack one that is farther away. So she's going to use her pistol. It's got a range of 6 and shots 2. Well, she's going to shoot the ones right next to her, which is 1, and then she gets 2 shots. So she takes 2d6, and then on her character sheet, she's got a range of 3+. So we take 2d6, and each one needs to be a 3 or better. Alright, so she got a 3 and a 5, so both of her shots hit. Now what she does is she places the hit shots, which is kind of weird because wouldn't you be pointing at something to shoot it? But basically is you need to roll the dice to see if you hit. She rolled the dice to see if she hits. Now she needs to place her hit shot, which has to be adjacent to her. So now what she's going to do is, there's 2 different kinds of placements of her hits. One, she can go ahead and resolve each dice individually, or 2, she can roll all of her dice together and apply them all at once. And the significance of both of them is when she uses a grit, that will give her the ability to reroll dice. Now if she rolls all of her damage dice at once and she doesn't like it, she can use a grit to reroll the dice that she does not like. But if she rolls each dice individually, then she can only use the grit to reroll each one set of individual dice. So she's going to go ahead and just take one of her shots at this spider in front of her. So boom, she ends up doing 6 points of damage, which is no problem killing it. That has health of 3. But remember, our darkness card, Strength of the Void, says all void enemies are now +1 defense. So you look at the keyword of the void spider and it says void. So it now has a +1 defense. So I just go ahead and take a sticky note, cut it, and put it right there to remind me that it now has a defense of +1. But she did do 6 points of damage. The defense of +1 makes it into a 5, and 5 is well above the health of 3, and totally blows this spider away. Ugh. So now she's going to take her other shot, and she's going to apply it to the next void spider that's adjacent to her, because she has to shoot the ones adjacent to her. So she's going to roll the damage. She gets a 4. Okay. Defense of 1, the 4 turns into a 3. That's still enough to kill the spider who has a health of 3. So now she killed each spider, and each spider was worth 10 XP each. So she just got 20 XP from killing the 2 spiders. And that's going to end her turn for step 2. Now we move on to the Saloon Girl. So Saloon Girl starts off, and she's got to go ahead and save against the 2 horror hits from the Night Terror's terror ability. So her willpower is a 4+. So we roll the 2d6 and got to get a 4 better. And got a 5 and a 1. Alright, so she's going to take 1 sanity damage. Now, that's not looking good because now she's up to 6 out of 14. Alright, next thing she's going to do is she rolls her movement. She gets a 3, but she's going to just go ahead and just stay there because she reaches into her garter belt and she pulls out her little holdout pistol. And the holdout pistol here gets a free attack. Once per fight, gets a free attack. Range of 3, and the spider's within 2, gets 1 shot and a critical hit on 5 or 6. On her character sheet, her melee and range are both 4+, so she needs a 4 or better to hit that void spider. Oh, got a 6, nice. Plus, the 6 was a critical, which means that when they roll a critical, it's going to bypass any kind of defense that the enemy has. So since the void spider has a +1 defense, her damage is going to bypass that defense and go directly to its health. So she's going to end up doing a d6 worth of damage, and does 5, and that little gun blows the spider away. Now that was a free attack for her, so she gets a normal attack with it, but it only has a range of 3. So 1, 2, 3. This is as far as the gun can shoot, and the Night Terror is all the way over here, so that's going to end her turn. Now we go to the Night Terror. So the Night Terror, it has a movement of 5, so it just comes crunching along here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're going to decide which hero does the Night Terror go for. So we roll a d6, and on an odd, it goes to the Gunslinger. Alright, so we get an even, so 5. Steps right there. It rears its big claws back. On the enemy record sheet, remember, it's got a combat of 4, and each hit is going to do 4 points of damage. So we're going to roll 4d6, and it's got to get a 5 or better to hit Shawna. Oh, we got 2 6s, 2 1s. Nice. So it hit twice on Shawna, but before it does its 8 points of damage, remember? Now she's got to roll a defense, which is 3+, to dodge out of the way. So the 2, she's going to go ahead and roll 2d6. She needs a 3 or better to dodge out of the way. 4 and 5, so she drops down to the ground, bounces back up as the hand swings past her, taking a chunk out of the wall. So that was the Night Terror's turn. We now go to our next step, step 3, room exploration. Well, we already explored the room there. Not scavenged, but explored the room. So that step 3 is completed. Now we go to step 4, end of the turn. Now there's no cards that have anything happen, so the ability of the Saloon Girl, Comforting Presence, says that she can go ahead and heal up a wound or a sanity from an adjacent hero. So she's going to go ahead and heal up 1 sanity from the Gunslinger. Okay, so that ends that turn. And now we head back to the beginning of the turn. Step 1, hold back the darkness. Alright, Shawna, let's see how good we can do with holding back the darkness. The hero posse marker is in the 7+ stage, so we roll 2d6 and see what we get. Ooh, and she gets a 7. That's good enough. That holds it back. That holds it back. Alright, now we go on to our next step. Step 2, models activate in initiative order. Alright, take our first player marker, go up to the beginning. And you can see right off the bat that there's no void spiders on the map tile. So, we'll just put that one upside down. And we'll put it off to the side a little bit to say that it's gone. So our Gunslinger is up. So first thing right off the bat that the Gunslinger's got to do is save against the 2 horror hits from the terror ability of the Night Terror. So we roll 2d6 and she's got to save on a willpower of 4+. Oh, that's not good. So she fails twice. So that takes 2 sanity damage. Okay. Now she's up and she'll take her movement. D6 for movement. She gets a 6, but she's just going to stay there. And now she's going to attack. Well, this big creature is here. She's not liking that. So she's going to go ahead and use her pistol fanning. So we have to use 1 grit to double the number of shots. And she's got to have a single-handed gun. And to use the ability, you must have 1 hand open, which she does. So she's going to go ahead and spend her grit. So instead of using the pistol that has 2 shots, now she's going to fan the hammer and she's going to get 4 shots out of it. And her range attack is a 3+, so we roll 4d6 and she's got to get 3 or better. Oh, very nice. Look at that. She failed 1, but she got a 5, a 6, and a 6. Okay, so for a 6, those are called criticals. So it'll bypass any kind of defense, which is really good because looking on the Night Terrors, they have a defense of 3. So we're going to go ahead and do the 2 criticals first. Okay, so these go directly to the wounds of the health of 12. 3 and 2, that's 5. Now we get a wound marker of 5. Put that right there. And then our other one, that's going to go against the health, but it's also going to go against the defense of 3. 5 damage, so take off 3. That makes 2 wounds. So there's 2 more for a total of 7 wounds on the Night Terror. Okay, so we come back to the 3 and 2, and then remember it was a 5 minus the 3, so 2. This is in regards to the XP that the Gunslinger would be getting. So what happens is each attack and each hit is going to do 10 plus 5 for each wound that it does. So get out your piece of paper and pencil and your calculator, and we'll calculate this all up. So she hit and went through the defense 3 times. So she got the 10 times 3, so that's 30 XP. And then she gets 5 XP for each point of damage or wound that she produces. So we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 times 5 is 35. So 35 plus the 30 is a total of 65. So she got 65 experience points just from that turn. Alright. So that completes her turn. We now come down to the Saloon Girl. And she used her free attack already from the holdout pistol. So she's going to go ahead and pull out the axe that Yvette had given her. And she's now going to use it as a combat attack. So here's her combat of 2, and it's a melee attack, so she needs a 4 plus. So she takes 2d6 and she rolls against it, and she needs a 4 plus in order to hit the Night Terror. Alright, well, we got a 1 and a 2. Well, that's not looking too good. So what she's going to do is she's going to use one of her grits to re-roll it. Because she doesn't like the fact that there's this big, huge, 8-foot, big furry creature almost taking her head off with that hand. So we rolled the 2d6 for her combat, and she needs a 4 plus. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh, this is going to hurt, this is going to hurt. Alright, so she got 2 criticals, which means it's going to bypass that 3 defense. So let's see what that axe is going to do. You may add 2 damage to one of your combat hits. So she's going to add 2 damage also. So we'll see what she gets here. Oh, there's 5. 1 is 6, plus 2 is 8. And the Night Terror has 12 health. So we got 5, 6, 7, and 8 is 15. Oh, and she takes it down. Boom! With that axe. Ouch. Nice job, Shawna. Nice job. So now what happens is we go ahead and once the fight is completed, we're going to do what is called catching your breath. So this is the rule book on page 27 in the section completing the fight, subsection catch your breath. And what happens is after the fight is done, if the hero had taken an action during that turn, they will roll a d3 and they can heal up in any fashion the wounds or sanity that they have. If they did not act during that turn, then they can heal up a d6 worth. But in our case here, the Gunslinger and the Saloon Girl had already acted during this turn, so each of them are going to get a d3. So our Gunslinger, she's going to get a 3. So she's going to end up healing up all of her sanity that she's got, and now she has no wounds and no sanity. Now the Saloon Girl, she gets a d3. Oh, very good. And she gets 3. Now she has a bigger choice because she's got a lot of wounds and a lot of sanity on her. But since she has a lot more sanity, she's going to go ahead and take 3 sanity off. Alright, so she takes 3 sanity wounds off. Now she's good to go. Alright, so step 3 room exploration's already been done. And step 4, end of the turn. So with our heroes adjacent to each other, the Gunslinger can go ahead and heal up 1, but she already is healed up, so she doesn't have to do anything. So that completes the turn. Now we go back to the beginning of the turn. And step 1, hold back the darkness. Alright, so we're going to hold back the darkness here, but before we do that, Shawna's like, hey, maybe these creatures had some loot or something on them. Now what happens is that for every threat card that is during a fight, each hero will get 1 loot card. We get our loot deck here, and Yvette, she's going to get, what's this? 20 XP. It's a loot artifact, and it says draw an artifact card. Then in parentheses it says, or a gear card if in an other world. So they're not in an other world, they're just in their normal world, so she's going to draw an artifact card. So we go ahead and we get the Mine Artifacts deck, and there's the symbol for the mines. Let's see what she gets. A healing stone, and the keywords are artifact and magic. So once per adventure, heal 2d6 wounds or sanity, any mix, from a single hero. Very good. It has a weight icon of 1, and it's worth $150. Alright. Good job there, Yvette. And then there's Shawna. She gets a loot. Let's see what she gets. Darkstone Rock. It's worth 20 XP. It's loot and a Darkstone. And she gets a D3 worth. So let's roll the dice, see what she gets. 4. So she gets 2. Alright, so she's going to end up getting 2 Darkstone. So we'll put those on her character sheet. But then Shawna says, oh, these rocks, they're kind of big. Yvette, dear sister, can you carry them for me? So she's like, sure, no problem, no problem. Now remember that the Darkstone tokens, they're not like the other tokens which don't apply to the side bag token limit of 5 tokens, so she can carry as many Darkstones as she wants. Alright, so we take the loot cards, put there, the other loot card, put it back into the deck, and we go ahead and give it a shuffle. Alright, very good. So this one's going to go to Beth. And we go ahead and discard the low threat. And now we're going to go ahead and step 1, hold back the darkness. Alright, so Shawna's going to go ahead and roll the 2d6. And 5, not good. Darkness moves 1 step closer to the mine entrance. Alright, now we go to step 2, models activate in initiative order. So the first one up is the Gunslinger. And now we go back to the other situation where they do their movement and searching. So our Gunslinger is going to go ahead and move, and we're going towards the open door here. Got a 2. So 1, 2. And now she's going to go ahead and search the area. So we roll 3d6. And 3, 4, and a 6. So very good. So she came around the corner, saw something off to the side. Go ahead and grab our scavenge deck. And it says, small find, 10 XP, scavenge. You find a small scattering of coins stained with blood. $50 worth. Alright, very good. And we take ourselves a scavenge token and we put that on the map tile. And then we go ahead and put that card back into the deck and reshuffle them. And now it is Shawna's turn. She's going to go ahead and do her movement. And she gets a 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, almost there. Well, she can't scavenge because it's already been scavenged. She can't look through the door because she's not at the end of the tile. So that's going to complete her turn. Then we're on step 3, room exploration. Well, the room's already been explored there with the token, so we skip that and we go back to step 4, which is end of the turn. And our heroes are not adjacent to each other, so that means that Shawna cannot use her comforting presence. So we end the turn and go back to the beginning. Step 1, hold back the darkness. So Shawna goes ahead and rolls 2d6. 9, so she holds back the darkness, no problem there. We go on to step 2, models activate in initiative order. Gunslinger's up first. She's going to go ahead and do her movement. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, all the way to the end. And at this point, she's going to decide whether or not to look through the door, but she decides not to because she wants her sister next to her, so she's going to go ahead and just skip the second action of searching and looking through a door. So now it goes to Shawna's turn, as she does her movement, and boop, she goes right there, and she takes her second action of searching, and she looks through the door. So we go ahead and we grab the map deck for the mines, and there's our helpful hint that we need to advance the hero posse marker 1 space, and we draw the map deck and we get the vault. So let's go ahead and find the vault. Let's find the vault. Where is the vault? Let's see, is this it? Yeah, that looks like it. Alright, so there we go. We got the vault, pretty big tile there. So we got ourselves 3 exits this time. And then down below, this is where we enter. So let's go ahead and move our tiles around to adjust for the new room, the vault. Okay, so we got the vault all set up, and there's the map deck. We put our reminder on the back, so the next time we draw, we know to advance the hero posse marker. And we got ourselves a new room, the vault, on the playfield. So we got to take an exploration token and we'll put that right there. And that will be the end of this video. We'll go ahead and stop it here and join us next time as our heroes enter into the next room, the vault.